Hey everyone, today we're diving into the world of echoes and wuthering weaves, and trust me, this is something you don't want to miss. Echoes are basically artifacts and accessories in Wuwa, and they come with some really cool abilities that can change the way you play. Starting from version 2.0, something awesome happened. All the Nightmare Echoes got a huge upgrade. You no longer need to summon them to activate their buffs. Instead, you can just slot them as your main echo, which makes things way easier and way better. The only exception to this is Impermanence Heron, where the Nightmare and normal versions actually have different Sonata effects. But other than that, Nightmare Echoes are where it's at now. So, if you're not yet in Renacita, you'll still be using those normal echoes for a while, but as soon as you can, it's time to farm those Nightmare versions. They're gonna make a big difference in your performance. In fact, this tier list we've put together is mostly focused on the Nightmare Echoes because they've truly become the top choice. Stick with me as we break down which ones are the best to farm and why they're worth your time. Trust me, this is the kind of info that will seriously boost your gameplay. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking echoes in Wuthering Waves. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The echoes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Dreamless, Mech Abomination, and Felian Beringal. Let's dive into the world of echoes in Wuthering Waves, where we're going to take a closer look at the B tier options. While they might not have the spotlight that S tier echoes get, they're still solid choices for your roster. These echoes are perfect for those looking for fun, unique abilities, and some nice synergy with other characters. Plus, who doesn't love experimenting with different strategies to see how they work in real combat? First up is Dreamless, which is a bit of a tricky character to judge. She doesn't have the ability to parry flawed attacks or skills, so it may feel like she's at a disadvantage in some situations, but don't let that fool you. Her damage output, speed, and utility are top-notch, especially when paired with Havoc Rover. You can easily swap her out after using her Echo skill, and not only does she perform her full skill, but you also get the added bonus of repositioning. It's a perfect strategy if you want a little more flexibility in your gameplay, even if she's not the best for direct confrontation. Next up, we have Mech Abomination, a summon echo that fits in the cost-free category. Typically, summon echoes aren't known for their impressive damage output, but Mech Abomination is an exception. Despite being a summon, it packs a punch with its damage and the additional buff it provides to your equipped character. It's one of those echoes that's not super high maintenance, you don't need to swap it out constantly, which can be a big bonus during longer fights. However, it does land at the bottom of A tier just because it's more reliant on the summon mechanics, which can sometimes be a little more predictable than some might like. Then, there's Felian Beringal. This one's a bit of a powerhouse when it comes to damage, thanks to its short animation and its cost 4 status. But, and here's the kicker, it can't parry flawed attacks, which makes it a bit of a gamble in some situations. The second hit does have a chance to parry, but it's tricky to time and relies heavily on your prediction skills. For those who enjoy the high-risk, high-reward playstyle, Felian Beringal is definitely a fun pick. Plus, you can easily swap out after landing the first hit, and if you time it right, the damage and buffs will transfer over to another character, making it a solid strategy for certain team compositions. In conclusion, while these B tier echoes might not have the flashy perks of the top tier options, they bring a lot of fun and versatility to your gameplay. Whether you're looking for something a bit more hands-off with Mech Abomination, or you want to experiment with Dreamless and her repositioning abilities, there's plenty of room for creativity. And don't forget Felian Beringal. If you can master the timing, it can dish out some serious damage. So, while they might not be the top dogs in the game, these echoes are still worth exploring if you're looking for something a little different in your roster. The echoes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Jue, Morning X, and Bellborn Gyochelone. Let's dive right into some of the most interesting echoes in Wuthering Waves, starting with a fan favorite in the A tier, Jue. This little guy is a summon echo with a twist. It's pretty solid in damage, sitting between the average cost 3 and cost 4 echoes. The thing with Jue is, its damage is split into 3 portions, so it's a bit of a delicate balance. You get 2 portions from the skill itself, and then 1 more from your own coordinated attacks, up to 15 times. But be careful, because with that many attacks, there's a chance to lose out on a little bit of damage. It's a niche pick though, especially if you're rocking resonators that rely on resonance-skilled DMG like Jinsei. Jue can boost your game, but for something like Spectro Rover, Morning X is probably your better bet. Speaking of Morning X, it's another cost-free summon echo, but it's in a different category altogether. The main downside, it can't parry flawed attacks, so it's a bit more vulnerable than some other echoes, but it compensates with its relatively short animation, making it easier to swap in and out. Compared to the likes of Phaley and Berengal, Morning X doesn't quite hit as hard, but it still has a lot of value. If you're not needing the full parry ability, this one can still hold its ground. It's a situational pick, but I'd say if you're using it for the right reason, it can definitely shine. Now, let's talk about Bellborn Jo Shalone. If you're a support main, you're probably already familiar with this one. It's a summon echo that's got a lot to offer. Not only does it dish out a party-wide damage buff, but it also gives a sweet 50% damage reduction for the next 3 hits. That's pretty handy when your team is taking a beating. Jo Shalone is honestly one of the best support echoes you can have, maybe even a must-have for any team that's focusing on sustainability. And the best part? Its animation can be cancelled by immediately using your Resonance Liberation. This makes it super smooth to transition into your next move without missing a beat. The synergy in Wuthering Waves really depends on how you use these echoes. It's not just about having the strongest one, it's about finding the right balance and timing. Jue might not be the go-to pick for everyone, but when it's paired with the right resonator, it can absolutely outperform. Morning X may lack some of the more flashy abilities, but it's all about how you play around its timing and usage. And then there's Jo Shalone, which is just a beast when you're looking to keep your team in the game and alive longer. Sometimes a little support can go a long way. If you're wondering which one you should try, it honestly depends on your playstyle. Do you prefer a more flexible, high damage approach with Jue, or are you a team player looking to buff and protect with Jo Shalone? Maybe you're into the more strategic swap in and out playstyle of Morning X. Either way, these A-tier echoes are definitely worth experimenting with, and with the right team comp, they'll help you take down some tough opponents in Wuthering Waves. The echoes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right: Nightmare Impermanence Heron, Fallacy of No Return, and Sentry Construct. Alright, let's dive into some of the real heavy hitters in Wuthering Waves when it comes to echoes. These aren't your everyday abilities. We're talking about those top tier, game-changing echoes that you can't just sleep on. If you're looking to push your team's potential to the max, then you're gonna want to pay attention, because these S tier echoes are the cream of the crop. First up, we've got Nightmare Impermanence Heron. Now, this one's all about that sub-DPS life, especially in Havoc teams. The downside, it's a bit inflexible in other setups, but when you're in a Havoc team, this echoes is absolutely perfect. It deals a massive 300% plus total Havoc DMG. If you're looking to stack some serious damage and keep things popping off, this is one to keep in your back pocket. Then there's Impermanence Heron, which just takes the cake as one of the most versatile and solid picks. Not only does it boost resonance energy for the character wielding it, but it also buffs the ATK of the next character entering the field. So you're not just boosting one unit, you're giving a nice buff to the whole team. And let's not forget, this one still reigns supreme when paired with Moonlit Clouds. Sure, the Nightmare version has that Midnight Veil Sonata effect, which is more tailored for Havoc sub DPS, but Impermanence Heron just gets the job done. Now, if you're all about supports and healing, Fallacy of No Return is your go-to. This echo is hands down the best for any HP scaling support in the game. And you know what? It works wonders with Shorekeeper, who's probably the best healer in Wuthering Waves right now. What makes this echo even better is how fast you can charge Concerto energy just by holding down the button. While Fallacy is delivering its rapid punches, your resonators can still act and keep the tempo going, which is a big win. And for those who are using the new Frosty Resolve Sonata effect, Sentry Construct is the echo to have. Not only does it pack a punch in terms of damage, but it doesn't even need to be summoned to give those sweet echo bonuses. It's all about maximizing your battlefield presence without the extra hassle of summoning and resummoning. You'll be dealing out solid damage while the bonuses keep stacking, perfect for some of the more aggressive team setups. But here's the thing, these aren't just random echoes, they're designed to elevate the synergy within your team. Each one plays a pivotal role depending on what you're trying to build, whether it's boosting damage with Nightmare Impermanence Heron or supporting in your team with Fallacy of No Return. You've got a variety of tools at your disposal to make your squad unstoppable. Remember, the key to success in Wuthering Waves isn't just picking any echo, it's about understanding how each one fits into your team's strengths and weaknesses. If you're running a Havoc-focused team, for instance, Nightmare Impermanence Heron is a no-brainer, but if you need that extra healing power or energy boost, Fallacy of No Return and Impermanence, Heron will have your back. So there you have it. Some of the best echoes in Wuthering Waves. These picks aren't just strong, they're strategic, game-changing, and absolutely necessary for anyone looking to rise to the top. If you've got any questions or want to discuss more strategies, drop them in the comments. The echoes in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Hecate, Nightmare Inferno Rider, Nightmare Crownless, Nightmare Tempest Mephis, and Nightmare Thundering Mephis. Let's dive into some of the absolute top tier echoes in Wuthering Waves. We're talking S+ tier here, the cream of the crop. These are the echoes that can totally change the game and make your team shine, whether you're dealing damage or supporting your squad. If you're serious about maximizing your potential, you'll want to keep these in your arsenal. First up, we've got Hecate, and let me tell you, she's a powerhouse when it comes to sub DPS. What makes her so good? Well, her coordinated attacks are not just effective, they're lethal, especially when those attacks land critical hits. The 80k boost you get from this is just insane. Plus, her echo effect summons blades that deal damage off-field, giving you even more firepower when you're not directly involved in the action. Now, let's talk about Nightmare Inferno Rider. This one's all about raw, explosive power. When you summon this bad boy into battle, your offense goes up a notch. You get an 80k boost for a solid 15 seconds after activating its skill, and the skill itself can deal up to 270% damage. But it doesn't stop there. Use Inferno Rider in the overworld and you can traverse super quickly, giving you that extra mobility when you need it most. Moving on to Nightmare Crownless, this echo is a force to be reckoned with, and the damage output speaks for itself. Each time it's summoned, it dishes out a massive 270% damage, and here's the kicker. The skill can be charged up to 3 times, meaning you can unleash this devastating effect multiple times in one go. It's like having an extra nuke ready to go when the battle really heats up. Next, we've got Nightmare Tempest Mephis, which is, hands down, one of the best echoes for Electro DPS. It's all about maximizing your resonator's potential, and Tempest Mephis shines if your resonator scales off resonance skill. This echo can also benefit from the Empyrean Anthem Sonata effects, so it's a perfect fit if you're using a coordinated attack sub DPS. You've got a whole new level of synergy here, and that's what makes Tempest Mephis so darn effective. But hold up, don't sleep on Nightmare Thundering Mephis either. This one's another top tier choice for Electro DPS, but it's a little different. If your resonator scales off Resonance Liberation, then Thundering Mephis is your go-to. The synergy here is unmatched, making it a must-have if you're running a Resonance Liberation build. It's another example of just how important the right echo can be when you're fine-tuning your setup. When you combine these S+ tier echoes, your team becomes an unstoppable force. Whether you're focusing on raw damage or optimizing your sub-deeps playstyle, these echoes have you covered. And with so many options, the possibilities are endless when it comes to team composition. Just make sure you match the right echo with the right resonator, because the synergy is key to getting the most out of your setup. These top tier echoes aren't just about flashy effects, they're about turning the tide of battle in your favor. They give you so many strategic advantages, whether it's through insane damage numbers or enhanced utility. If you're looking to climb the ranks in Wuthering Waves, these are the echoes you want to build your team around. So, are you ready to level up your game? With these S+ tier echoes, you'll have everything you need to dominate the battlefield. Go ahead, unleash that power, and let your enemies feel the wrath of your perfectly tuned team. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.